What's up, everybody? Welcome to CanesInSight PRIMETIME. Got an 8 o'clock show here on a Sunday night. Victory Sunday. Did one this morning, but felt so good. Had to do it again, man, and bring in the big boys with my man, Stevo from 3 Live Canes, 365 Canes Football. You already know. You've seen his breakdowns on YouTube, on Twitter. He is the man, and we got to bring him in here on a special Victory Sunday, heading into a huge week for Canes football. As always, everything brought to you by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Stevo, how we doing?
Big chillin'. Always good. A weekend after a dub victory Sunday. It's playing the 12 o'clock game, winning early, and then just being able to enjoy the rest of the day of college football. You can't beat those type of days.
Oh, snap. It's Mikey's checking in from a dispensary in beautiful Kalispell, Montana. Canes Worldwide, the takeover. You ever been out to Kalispell, Montana?
Nope, but who knows? Maybe one day I'll be out there, Mikey.
You'll be routing guys up out there. So for those who don't know, Stevo, part of 3 Live Canes, which we have on our channel every Wednesday. You guys have been running for, man, how many years you guys have been running consistent Wednesdays, man? 9 o'clock. It's been a minute.
Yeah, I can't even tell you. It's been since when we were originally on CanesInSight Live. It's been years, probably since 2021, 22.
Yeah, a lot of L's, so it's always good to get a W here that you had a breakdown. Now you can cheer for a winner here. Obviously, a huge week. We'll get into Pitt and everything else, but real quick, just Stevo again. For those who don't know, Stevo works with a lot of these athletes. He himself, semi-pro wide receiver and a teacher of the craft. Worked with a lot of these guys. Talked about him since high school. I mean, beyond. He's been in there. So, what you see on Saturday? Passing game was cooking.
Yeah, it was just early. So they have a lot of good things to say about the passing game. I have one thing. Sometimes I think Carson Beck just locks in on Tony. And there's some other plays to be had out there. I think JoJo might have had an opportunity deep one plan and Joshua Moore for the other. But the passing game is clicking because the tempo we're playing at, when you get that 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 yards on first down on that run. So that juice from Pringle is helping. But just Carson Beck looks in control. He looks like, okay, this call from the sideline is exactly what I see. So it seems like that time missed with spring was huge. He was healthy, and the ball looked good coming out of his hands and stuff, but you could tell from beginning of the season to now, just the play call is meshing. There's no him trying to hurry up like, hey, what's the call that we saw a couple times? It just looks like there's continuity in between the play caller and the quarterback, which I think has now flourished. Obviously, he's kind of had Malachi Tony as his dependable target. Obviously, CJ Daniels was to make those splash plays, but other guys are getting the football. That was a great, design to get Pringle, use his speed, something that we're not really going to put Mark Fletcher or Marty Brown on. So that's a nice little adjustment when you have a switch up in the type of skill set in your backfield. Let's go ahead and take advantage of that wheel route out the backfield and just put it over there. So those type of things, it looks like just continuity. So it wasn't just outside of Malley, really wasn't much receivers doing it other than Keelan Marion, who's come on, was kind of on a downward trajectory after FSU, but he's picked it back up in recent weeks.
D-Train 2235 said, I always wonder how you guys set up in the IPF. I'm on one side, Stevo's on the other right now. We got the keys. So here, Kerry Furman says, shout out to 3 Live Canes. I work blue in the 3 Live Canes chat. Check it out sometime. Yeah, it's a great show. Definitely check it out. I want to make sure we promote those guys, man. I mean, that whole crew, man. My boy Chris Cane's legacy, he's a monster when it comes to the history. Y'all three, you guys have great chemistry, man. That's an awesome show. So, wait, hold up. Oh, snap, it's Mikey. So my Beach Boy 2 played for the Bulldogs football team when Brett Getz brought it back with Andy Diamond, went to North Beach Elementary. Yeah, man, that's my neighborhood school right down the street. So shout out to Oh, snap, it's Mikey all the way to Montana. But, one thing you talked about with Beck, just the timing of everything, right? Just getting used to it. I heard he said it in an interview, so I think we could talk about this. I'd kind of not talked about these topics, but I've been hearing things, is that it feels different when he throws. Like, he had to not just get used to the timing of his receivers and everything else, but like, even though he, like you said, his arm was live, the ball was coming off it the right way, he felt a little different because he got reconstructed in there with that brace surgery. So he said he had to get used to just how it felt throwing, and you see just a little difference in the way he's ripping it down the field. Obviously, the defenses aren't as good either. So start with your boy. You called him generational. When did you first call Malley generational?
Obviously I've been knowing about him since his QB days and Little League days, but since I figured he was generational is what he did in front of me. I saw him. I was at that Heritage game where it just looked like everybody was on Brandon Ennis, and I was waiting for 10 to make a play, and then eventually they threw the fade, and it was just so easy, so smooth, and he's been just. Not to say he's the same player because he's getting bigger, stronger, and faster, but I mean he's been a route tactician, for his whole career here. He's been, a very cerebral guy who sees it from a quarterback, even offensive coordinator's point of view. Some of those times where you like, Mally, why you cut up? Because he knows we can't afford a down where we're not going forward. So sometimes instead of chasing the big play, gets the yards in front of him. That's just his background of understanding the game from the game. But there's been a couple catches that he's made. There's one versus Chaminade that I was just happy to be standing on that end zone, and he tracked that damn ball over and plucked that thing out the air. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking at his eyes. Look at that. They're so big. They're just looking right through that clean visor at that ball. And I was like, ooh, it was disgusting. And obviously I've seen him a little bit in 7-on-7. Against us mostly, but eventually one turn or two he came over to Raw, and so I seen him up close and personal. He is a guy who understands exactly what to do once he sees out people are covering him. Some guys that get up, they run their route the same way every time, doesn't matter. I'm gonna beat him with speed, or I'm gonna beat him with this move that I've been working on for 6 months. Mally lets the defense tell him exactly how he's gonna cook them, because he could run the same route 30 different times, show it up in different ways. It's definitely just crazy ability and God-given talent, because God-given talent meeting great work ethic, because he didn't get that type of skill overnight.
Yeah, his process is crazy, just the consistency and everything he does. You tell me, man, you've been watching him for a while. I started watching him later on in his Heritage career, and then I saw with you guys at Raw at one of these tournaments. He looks faster than me. Like he's making a jump in terms of his speed. It's definitely the FSU game. You saw that. Seems like he's just starting to come into it a little bit. His dad was one of the fastest guys around, younger guys. So you kind of expect some maybe more physical gains that you'd get. Weight room monster too, by the way. Don't talk about that with Mally, how hard he works in the weight room, the lower body strength, just the effort he puts in that part of it. But would you agree that I thought he was like a 4.5 guy coming in, like a quicker than fast kind of guy, but he might be quick and fast from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, no, he's definitely quick and fast. And I was of that opinion as well. But there was just too much times where I didn't think he was going to get to a ball, and he ends up getting there, where I just think he just has game speed. Like he could put it in 6 gear, 10 gear, it doesn't matter what it is, just to get to a ball. So I was of that understanding, he might not have the elite top speed, but when that ball's in the air, or it's one-on-one with the safety, and the safety could be a crazy athlete, and you're wondering how the hell did Mally just get the corner on him? It's just time after time consistently finding a way to make the play, whether he, gives him a little stutter and then bursts out. It's just, I would probably say he maybe tests at a 4.4, because he's probably going to have good technique. But definitely looks explosive. You saw that on the last play versus Virginia, with the deep play. Shout out to Homegirl on the sideline. Hope she's okay. You saw that versus, right? Yeah, you saw that versus Virginia Tech, and even on some of those jet sweeps where a short one versus NC State, versus Stanford, where he's able to just scoot into the end zone. If that play was on our side of the field, that would have went for like a 70-yard tutty. Like no one was getting him. So he's definitely gotten a lot more looks a lot more explosive to me. So that weight room and that type of strength and conditioning is definitely making a statement. And also him just growing. He's still just 18, so it continues to grow, get bigger, stronger, faster. He's probably nowhere near his peak.
Yeah, shout out to Ashley. Yeah, she's okay. Took her like a trooper. Malachi, what a gentleman, helped her up too. You saw that before going back to work, man. He does the little things right too.
Some plays during on the field, they go by fast. You're seeing everything, but I always like that couple seconds, that's free seconds when you're going out of bounds with all your momentum. There's nothing he could have did to stop. When you hit somebody, bro, it's always like in slow motion for the person running into him, because you never know who's gonna be. Because somebody's in front of you, think, oh, okay, then they just jump out the way and it's a whole new person in front of you. You're like, oh man, now I'm about to hit this person. So it all happens in slow motion. Thankfully, I've never knocked somebody out like that where it looked crazy. But those type of things on the sidelines happen. Thankfully, she didn't hit the ledge or anything. It was just a little pop.
Carlos Wilkerson is saying, do you guys feel like Tony has another gear he has to work to this offseason? I mean, first of all, he's going to work on everything. So that's one person. You don't have to worry about him kind of adding to his game. I'll let you take this one. I want to just one thing I can see more of is, it sounds crazy to say because it's kind of a gimmick, but I mean, I'm not sure he's not going to do more of this quarterback thing just because when you have a guy that can make multiple reads and be calm and make good decisions and then throw and like layer throws and do all this stuff. Like, I don't know how you leave that in the garage and just say, yeah, I'll do a trick play here and there. Cause it's like, again, I compare it to Tebow, not in terms of the athlete and the body and like, they're totally different the way they physically are. But like, if you have a quarterback that you can use as an actual quarterback and they can do things with the ball in his hands, like, why wouldn't you? He's already on the field. Like, it's not like you have to bring like Tebow, you had to bring him on. You know what I mean? Like you had to be like, all right, Tebow's coming in, Chris Lee, go out or whatever, line up wide. This he's on the field already. So I got to think that whole quarterback package with Malley, there might be more meat on the bone as you get a whole offseason with it. I don't know where you think Malley, what he might add to his game, which is already pretty complete.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's going to do any quarterback work. I think he just naturally could throw the football. People would tell you that really without warming up, just literally just could sling it. I think definitely you got to understand there's players that have set the blueprint for this that have been successful at it, and there was no reason to stop. You could think like way back, or I guess not way back, but Antoine Randall, a guy who the Steelers continued to go to that mill, and it was always at like the most opportune time. You just saw him, do a double pass over the top to Hines Ward or something like that. Or even Mohamed Sanu, who has like one of the highest passing ratings in the NFL history, and he was a wideout. So I mean, you get so much of these quick little pop passes, these quick tunnel screens. You have that defense stutter just for a second in their mind. Hey, do I fully commit to this? Because somebody's running out here, and it's not just somebody running deep. You have somebody running underneath. You have layers to it. He could even dump it off to the flats or take off. It's truly amazing, to be honest, when you really think about it, because anytime I've drawn up a double pass for anybody or just seen one drawn up myself, it's a one read and go. No offensive coordinator is telling you, hey, if this safety no, they're not telling you that. I promise you they're not. They're telling you take off, do what you do, make me right. That's what they're telling them. Like, that's exactly what they're telling them. So for Shannon Dawson to openly admit to just be like, hey man, like I have to scheme other things for him because he could just do it. It'd be like you said, it'd be stupid to leave it in the garage for the whole world not to know that, hey, he can make reads going, full speed down to the sideline and then pressing the line of scrimmage. If you're a defensive back, having that in your mind, whether one, he's a tough tackle, he's going to make the first guy miss mostly with strength, agility, or just speed. So just another element to, hey, do I really want to commit to this little quick pass? And the way we've done it too out of these double passes, we've done it out of traditional, jet sweeps, handoffs. We've done it out of the flick on the reverse. The screens are coming, and then eventually, he's gonna get one of these wildcat snaps instead of just taking off. He's gonna just drop back and play quarterback for a play too, which is what I could think is the next step, especially when you have other receivers stepping up, Dalen Upshaw, guys that the offensive coordinator might just be like, hey, I have other dudes. I can make this play work for Malley. I don't need to design a play to throw it to Malley. I can design a play for Malley to throw it to somebody else, which is crazy, but it's true.
There's a lot you could do with him, man. I like this comment from Johnny Sell. It says Malachi's typical Dade baby that has raw talent from just playing outside till the street lights come on. Backyard ball is positionless. What side of the border was he on? I know what the border is, but what side of the Dade Broward?
He's definitely from Dade, yeah.
He's Dade. Dade is doing pretty good right now because you got him, you got Jeremiah Smith, obviously. So Malachi is the best freshman. I think we all agree on that. I think that's a national kind of consensus. He's the best freshman player in the country. You have the best defensive player in the country, Ruben Bain, even with not getting the sacks. I think most people will still consider him that. He's still rated that on PFF, and then
people see the forced holds that don't ever get called.
Right. So you're the best offensive player, Jeremiah Smith. You got the best defensive player in Ruben Bain. You got the best freshman in Malachi Tony, and you got the Heisman probably in Fernando Mendoza. That's pretty good right now for Dade County. Nice little run.
No, they're doing their thing. I'm happy for them. A lot of kids are definitely making plays.
So real quick, I want to talk about a guy that, because you work at receiver, I want to make sure I ask you about receivers while you're on the show. Dalen Upshaw, only one catch, but a very important catch, contested catch, a kind of catch I think that if you're Carson Beck, the trust goes up a little bit. So what do you see with Dalen Upshaw?
So I was obviously, a lot of people didn't like this take. He wasn't the local guy. Oh, why are we going over here to Alabama? And I try to tell people this was KB's guy. And it's because he's the type of KB receiver. He's not a big outside guy. He's a smooth outside guy. That's KB's favorite type, the Jacoby George types. That's what he's looking for.
Kevin Beard was.
And and you're going to get a lot of production in this type of offense if you have that type of suddenness and you're smooth with your route running ability. And so Dalen Upshaw, he comes in, a guy you would also think is a 4.5 guy. He's not the fastest guy. He's quicker than fast. However, he's explosive with the ball in his hands. He has football speed. And so when you make a play like that, back shoulder 1-on-1, got to have it that can move the chains. It's different. It's on first down, you reload. This is, hey, we're going to have to get rid of the foot. We're going to punt the football if you don't make this catch. And it wasn't even the best thrown ball, to be honest with you. It was Cole Morte's inside shoulder. However, even with the DB's hands on it, he was able to corral it and go down to the ground. Obviously, he had that big screen, a couple weeks back. So, we know that type of stuff. That was on his tape. He gets the ball in his hands. He makes plays. That's the whole reason why we wanted him, because we want receivers who can make yards after the catch. It's the type of offense for it, especially with the how we like to run the extension of the run game with a lot of these quick screens. If you can't block for these quick screens and you can't make receptions and go downfield on these quick screens, most likely you're not to the top of Miami's board, because that's just a big part of the offense, spreading them out with the run game in the middle and these quick throws outside. So with Dalen Upshaw, very silky smooth, solid hands. I think that type of play makes, Carson Beck think about when he's in the film room and they're discussing things. He's going, hey, what about 15? That's the type of thing that happens once you make that one connection. So I would be very ecstatic if he starts getting some more down the field shots. There's one or two that I think he could have gotten last week. They just didn't go his way. The ball went elsewhere, rightfully so, because they were high completion, throws. But he's silky smooth. He's getting behind people. He's blocking well. I'm very happy with it. The back and forth between, Mally and Dalen and Joshua Moore making some plays. And technically JoJo is a redshirt freshman, making a catch here or there, contributing. One of these games, eventually this game or the hopefully playoff game, maybe ACC championship game if you're still praying. But one of these games, one of these receivers is just going to, go for 100+.
Yeah, I think it might be this next one, or that'd be nice for a lot of reasons. We'll get into the next game in a second. But before we move off Virginia Tech, I want to ask you just about the offense in general, right? So after SMU, a lot of calls for more creativity. You heard all the stuff. You're online. You know all the discussions that were being had. I know you guys talked about it on 3 Live Canes as well. So now seeing what we've been on offense, just from a formation standpoint, some of the different things we're doing. What are you seeing with this offense since that SMU loss?
One thing is we're attacking vertically with the tight ends. Bauman dropped a big one, but Lofton caught one early. So that 12 set's kind of we've been waiting for are we going to actually pass downfield with this set? Because a lot of it's been run heavy or dink and dunk passes out of it. So for us to, target the tight ends deep in the red zone, one was a corner route, one was a post route. That was something that is different that I was like, okay, obviously I would have loved for Bauman to go up and complete that for a touchdown. But Lofton made his. So I was very surprised with that because, we've been really vanilla out of 12 personnel, which is kind of crazy. Because you think about our 12 personnel last year, we know McCormick was just straight up blocking. However, Arroyo was gone. He was going downfield. So we kind of were missing that all year. We obviously were waiting on Lofton to explode or, anybody to step up there. So that's nice. That's something that I was very happy with, just a vertical shot that might free up the run game a little bit because now they have to account for that. And it was a switch release. It was literally a dial shot. Carson Beck knew that ball was going to go to Lofton as soon as they hiked it. So that's something nice about it. And then tempo when tempo is needed. I don't like to just go super fast just to go super fast. With this roster, I think it's definitely, enough time to ground and pound and do what we do and wear people out. But I like that we're, getting that first down, getting up to the line and showing some tempo more than we have, calling a timeout to put up points at the end. Like I made a tweet, like I was like, yo, if we were coaching with this type of aggressiveness when we control our own destiny, like this could be a totally different season. Just calling timeouts, being aggressive, sending blitzes out the ass, or excuse my French, but we're blitzing. Like we're playing so aggressive. We're timeouts. We're taking deep shots. We're letting Carson Beck, pick apart these defenses if they play zone. And then even in man coverage, we know we can solidify and trust Malley. Keelan Marion's also been good versus man, especially towards in-breaking routes. A lot of people are afraid of his speed, and he snaps it in. I think he does a really good job with selling verticality and getting across. It's a lot of things that go into when it comes to winning across the middle. There's toughness, there's skill, and there's also just understanding that people are scared of my speed. And I know exactly when he has just a really good sense of when to break it down and get flat and get actually not even flat, it gets negative back to Carson Beck. So I think the rightful tempo, the injection of speed from Pringle, as well as, Mark Fletcher being back. We had 2 touchdowns receiving for the running backs. I don't think that's the first time we've had it this year. So using the running backs in the passing game a little bit more. Mark Fletcher's always had great hands. Pringle, has great speed. So imagine, now DBs and linebackers, they have to be worrisome of that. And then while they're running back, because this guy's going here on a wheel route, we could be setting up a Malley play. Like it's just a lot of things that intertwine. So the offense is fun to watch. It was very not fun to watch at points of this season.
Yeah, that's one way to say it. Yeah, Bauman, I talked to somebody. Apparently, the reason the ball got locked loose is he didn't know the other guy was there. Like he didn't think that guy was, like, just the way he was seeing it. He didn't see that guy coming. So maybe let up a little bit, and that's, obviously you got to be urgent with that. But I think that was part of it, is just he didn't expect that guy coming from that angle, and they probably could have been a little more urgent with that one. But yeah, it'd be nice to see Bauman.
He's inside, got to turn outside.
It'd be nice to see him turn to get this thing going, because he's had some near ones, and just he's like kind of how Lofton's been until lately. He's got to break the dam there. But Primetime Rambo saying, appreciate your support, by the way. I really wish Chase Smith had another year, really come into his own over the season. Yeah, he's helping us. He's class of 21. He's the same class as Cam Kitchens, who's now maybe make a Pro Bowl for the Rams. It's like he's an old dude, man. So it's cool to see him having success. Roy was in that class as well. James Williams, a couple of other guys. I want to ask you. There it is, Dre. He already knows, man. Bro knows ball. Listen, if this is your first time with Stevo, man, trust me, he knows ball, especially when it comes to catching that thing. So I want to talk about the news of the day. But first, real quick, before I get into the news of the day, want to shout out Duffy's Tavern, the home of the Hurricanes. I was out there for the game on Saturday. Man, a lot of Canes fans, man. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate Canes Connection out there. A nice Canes Connection water bottle and Canes Connection hat. If you're not a member of Canes Connection, canesconnection.com/CIS. Let's get some more Malachi Tonys. That's canesconnection.com/CIS. But Duffy's partner with Canes Connection because it is the home of the Hurricanes, man. And there you see it, now accepting credit cards after 60-plus years. This is right there on the edge of Coral Gables, the old school. Not Duffy's the chain. This is Duffy's Tavern, Sports Grill. They're in the heart of Miami, edge of Coral Gables. And it's like Cheers if you're down there in the Dade County area. Shout out to Duffy's Tavern, Jose, the whole crew. Thank you for having us on Saturday. It was a great time. Great to watch a win. So, Stevo, got to ask about the news of the day. I know you've been getting text about this. The group chats are blowing up. It is the story of this Sunday evening, and that is Mike Norvell being retained as head football coach with support from FSU leadership. Norvell has pledged to institute fundamental changes in specific areas to improve performance. Basically, that means assistants are getting fired. Probably more, from what I'm reading, GMs and personnel people are getting fired, trying to get that recruiting up to date. Basically, we're in complete agreement. He knows what we got to do. This program's been built on, this Norvell talking now, this program's been built on belief, sacrifice, and putting the team first. I love Florida State, just kind of the usual talk here. I know
30 guys opting out for New York Six bowl game. First.
Oh man, this guy's gift that keeps on giving. I understand the on-field results have been far from acceptable from the FSU standard. We also realize this is interesting comment here. We also realize our responsibilities as stewards of program revenues and how to best allocate those dollars to compete at an elite level, something we will not compromise. Basically, the people in charge are saying, man, we gave you all this money and you got us this garbage roster. What's going on? And I think that's really will address performance deficiencies of the program. These deficiencies may include structural changes to the very large and complex program FSU has become, and these are areas are where we will focus and invest. I read these to basically say Oklahoma went and got Jim Nagy from the NFL, former head of the Senior Bowl, former scout, to run their personnel, and they're looking like they're probably in the playoffs here. So that feels to me like they're saying, we know our roster sucks. The people that write the checks are mad that, number one, we're losing, but also that we're spending money and it's not getting spent on real good players. So how can we get this thing up and running? We'll give Norvell a chance to coach, because we don't want to buy him out either, because we buy him out, that's money that could be going to players and GM and all that's going to buying out this head coach for this extension we shouldn't have given him. Plus, they're broke anyways. So how do you read this statement, and what are your thoughts on Coach Norvell running it back one more year?
I mean, they just gave him that 10-year. I mean, think about your Florida State admin. They won 10 games. They go to 13-0. Like what we were dealing with the committee, they dealt with it, got snubbed just because of different situations, but just same propaganda that they want to just downplay the ACC. And then you get to 2-10. And then you get to this year, which is they're fighting for their bowl eligibility week 12 versus the rival. It's definitely, you probably felt so good. Like, yeah, man, we won 10 games. We followed that up with 13-0. We're Florida State. They had a decent recruiting class for Norvell standards. And he's a terrible recruiter, by the way, if you commit to Florida State. He doesn't text you anymore. I've had multiple guys say it's really weird. And a parent asked me about it. I was like, I don't know anybody in FSU. I'm sorry. But that's crazy that he hasn't texted you back. That's from a player's mother, by the way. So yeah, definitely great news for us, because I think we're just gonna, unless a kid just is a Florida State kid, like there's kids out there that are just strictly Florida State. Dalvin Cook was one of those kids. I don't think they're gonna get as much of those, if not any, that Miami's really, really after. There's gonna be guys that they might go, but I really don't fear their high school recruiting and college portal, transfer portal recruiting. I don't think anybody's going to pick Florida State over Miami. They're going to be getting guys more likely to try to be proving themselves with that talent, other than the guys we're after, and getting the guys who have already proven talent and they're looking at cashing in the portal. So I do think just the trajectory of their recruiting is just awesome, that they're keeping him for another year. It's going to slow them down again. And then, if they want to, say, hey, let's fire the person who said let's give DJ $750,000 to play quarterback for us. I mean, yeah, you probably should fire him. I mean, just objectively speaking, like, yeah, what was the thing last year? We used to have $2 million+ on our defensive line, couldn't stop the run for nothing. I mean, yeah, they probably should be firing over there. So I'm glad somebody's getting fired, just because just for the sake of, being a coach and thinking about what the heck they're doing up there. I mean, yeah, somebody got to get fired. Will they make the right hires and do it successfully under Norvell? Probably not. It's year 6. This would be a different conversation if it's year 3, year 4. I think this is great news for Miami fans. Even if you're a Florida Gator fan, you're probably happy that they're keeping Norvell, because even the Gators have been putting them in the locker for recruits. I mean, he just can't recruit.
Can't recruit and really can't develop high school players. And I don't know what that is, because they've gotten 5-star players that have just been terrible. I mean, I don't know if it was, again, bad evaluation maybe. This is why you get back to the GM position. You theoretically, that GM position is going to help you evaluate players, kind of pick the right guys. Because from the booster standpoint, and that's why, when he said we're a steward of the revenues, that basically, I read it as like, I realize that the people that cut checks are mad that we're spending money on the wrong players. Because if you really look at FSU over the past few years, 2023, you signed Hakeem Williams, 5-star player.
Paid big money.
Nothing out of him. Lucas Simmons, who's I think from Sweden or Switzerland or something like that, one of these international kids in Clearwater, 61 ranked player in the country, nothing. Conrad Hussey, that didn't work out with him. you go to 2024, Charles Lester, I haven't seen him do anything. Luke Kromenhoek, he's now in Mississippi State. He's not doing anything. Jamari Howard from Norland, I haven't seen anything there. Kai Bates. I mean, really all their top guys, Cam Davis, you just go down the line. I mean, none of their top players are helping them. Kevin Wynn, I guess, not really. I haven't seen him do much. Usman Chroma looks pretty good. They hit on some evals with the twins from down here in Norland, but the highly ranked players have really not done anything for him. And I mean, a couple of these guys, so maybe you have more insight on what happened, but I don't know why they're so consistently bad with those dudes.
Well, one, they get all the reps taken in practice by transfers. They're getting all these reps, and like, think about it. A guy like Jaylen Brown last year was taking snaps away from LaWayne McCoy. Like, let's just be real of what that is. That's just idiotic. But that's FSU football, and I love it. And I love it, baby. But yeah, they're just consistently giving reps to transfer duds. So a guy like, they've been getting cooked at corner. You would think that a guy like Charles Lester would get his chance, to be honest with you, especially since you're paying him a lot of money. These big-time high school recruits, you're paying them. So it makes no sense for them not to get the burn. Even when the season was spiraling out of control last year, he was still riding heavy with those transfers that had him 2-8, 2-9. He was still playing them. So loyalty to that. There's a lot of guys with with a lot of, I could say, they definitely like Coach Norvell. I'm not going to sit up here and lie and make a narrative like his players don't like him. He's definitely a player's coach. I think players feel comfortable talking to him and things of that nature, just from things that I've heard from players on that team. However, they can't respect that people could burn him over and over and over again. And he'll still put them out there. They really are infuriated about that. And oh god,
yeah, we forgot about him too, Julian Armella.
That's a big one. But they really have lost respect in that aspect of just continuously playing the guys and not giving young guys a burn when it's time to pull a plug. At Miami, that plug would have got pulled if you were not playing up to standard. Like, that plug is getting pulled at Miami now. 5 years ago, no, but now, you're out. You give up a play, you drop a pass, you're out. You give up a deep ball, it doesn't matter if you're OJ. Ethan O'Connor is coming in. Like, that's just what it is. It's not like that at Florida State at all, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, you said that, and I love it, man. I think back to the Young Jeezy song, and I went and I looked it up when that song came out, because I remember when it came out, I was kind of not that much different than I am now. At least I felt in my brain I wasn't. 2007, man. Malachi Tony, I don't know if he was even born yet. I mean, that's 18 years ago, man. How old are we? Yeah, and I love it, man. 2007, man. So, the years are catching up on us. But, yeah, really with FSU, I mean, I don't know if they're any kind of threat to Miami. I mean, you said it. This recruiting this year is kind of cooked. They got some guys in the class, so I guess they'll keep some good players that they have. They have Sam Shields' cousin with Chauncey Kennan. They got a couple other dudes, but this team's got to come down to Miami next year. Who knows what's going to happen with Castellanos and the quarterback situation? But
they should move on
from him, from Castellanos.
Norvell doesn't have so Coach Norvell, and he hired Coach Gus. They are a high power rushing attack, and that's kind of what Norvell did at Memphis. Yeah, a lot of shot plays sprinkled in, but he was definitely more of a run type spread, type of guy, a power spread type of guy. So definitely a good mesh point, but you have to be accurate, intermediate, and short. Those type of running quarterbacks have trouble hitting the deep balls, but are usually accurate, short, and intermediate. So those offenses work. He's not accurate, short, or intermediate. He's accurate on the deep ball, which is crazy, but he does throw a great deep ball. However, when you lack consistency hitting those plays that keep you ahead of the chains or move the chains consistently, it does not complement that run game. You're run, deep ball. Run, deep ball. They have to get rid of him. If he does get a waiver, he should get that waiver in the portal if I'm Coach Norvell. They need dual threat ability for sure, but he's not a dual threat. He can run, and then he can also throw a deep ball.
Any players in FSU's roster that you want to try to poach, whether it's the class or a portal, as you look at it here? I mean, Jason Lopez, to me, I think he's the best guy down here quite frankly, as far as like just current players right now. If you ask me the best player in South Florida, I'm saying Jason Lopez. I don't know if you have a different pick. I know you've seen all these guys, but to me, he's the best football player down here right now, overall athlete. But I don't know
I'm
if we're gonna
probably
get him
going
at this
Lil Nick
point.
for best football player. I'm probably going Lil Nick for best football player.
Oh, Lanier, yeah. I guess I was thinking about just kind of guys in the last class. But yeah, Lanier for sure. You put him in that category. But yeah, him, Kenan, Sam Shields' cousin, we recruited, but it seems like he's probably locked in. I mean, these guys are probably happy that Norvell's staying, so I don't see us poaching the recruits necessarily. Anyone on the team, like what are you seeing when you look at FSU's roster?
That's the problem. There's always guys we'd wish we gotten or we wanted to get, like, Matthew Thomas's and like just the the Dalvin, like the real deal, like battle between Florida State and Miami for these recruits. They were so fun to follow. We're just really going after different caliber of players. There's a player that I would take on their roster, of course. There's probably two. You'd be crazy if you didn't want Deuce Robinson. He's a baller. I mean, I'm big on Lil. I've always been big on Lil. I don't think he would ever come to Miami. But that's somebody I would go. And then even the other receiver that'd be burning things downfield, Dansby.
Dansby, he's fast.
They got some guys, obviously. But
the twins, the Norland twins, the Sear twins.
Yeah, for sure. And then other than that, I really don't want anything. I don't want anything at tight end. There's nothing at O-line. There's really nothing other than the Norland twins, on D-line. I don't really see much on that roster I would want other than the obvious, which is crazy that they're not in the passing offense, but you would look at like two or three of their receivers and be like, like, that's crazy how they're doing them a disservice with the quarterback play. I mean, I watched it was Friday night, me and my little brother, we were watching it, the Florida State game, and I'm sitting there listening to the TL. I mean, looking at the TL, they're crying. They're like, oh my God, he's wide open. Why can't you just throw it? And I'm just sitting there like shaking my head like, yo, that dude is pretty wide open. Like, he's in the middle of the field going like this. Like, man, dude can't see over the line. Like, man, it's crazy that they have some really nice receivers, but they just can't use them. They can only run the deep ball. He can only throw the deep ball. He can't throw in breaking routes. He can throw the deep ball or the comeback, and anything else he struggles, man. And the craziest thing is these in-breaking routes is where you catch and then you split a safety and then boom, 60 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm curious to see what they do at GM. I get the feeling that they might do a situation where they get like I said, with like Nagy from the NFL. I mean, you saw Oklahoma do it. So that tells me the success they've had, kind of copycat deal here. Yeah, prime time. You don't want Squirrel White.
Man, they probably paid him some money out the portal.
Oh, for sure.
52 yards and a muff. They said that's enough. We're hiring a general manager staff. You got this guy on campus with all designer clothes and a Rolls Royce. He can't catch a punt.
Oh man, Norvell says special teams is going to be at the core of what they do when he first signed in with the team. So balls bouncing off people's heads. I never seen that before. But anyways, worst wishes to FSU. I'm going to do some more tampering real quick, but first want to talk about the triple win scenario with KashKick and the Play It Forward campaign. Unbelievable situation here. You download the KashKick app. That's KashKick on the App Store. 4.5 plus average rating, 1.5 million downloads, all legit. You get all your games right there on your phone when you're just wasting time, waiting for clients, doing whatever you're doing. And as you're playing all these games, you're making money on the side. The money goes straight into your PayPal, all legit. That's just how it goes. And then every dollar that goes to you, the Play It Forward campaign will match that. So the advertisers will make an equivalent donation to the American Cancer Society. So you make your money, you keep your money, and some more money goes to the American Cancer Society to fight this terrible disease. So the rare triple win scenario, KashKick, KashKick. All right, first, before we even get to tampering, I know you got to do this one. So let's shout out your boy here. Our boy, everybody's boy, but your boy especially. That's Xavier
Super
Strepo.
happy, man.
Talk to me. Walk me through the whole process.
I heard that he was going to be activated. You're seeing it's just crazy because the way the Nashville media covers him, I be seeing some of the stuff. It's really just made me upset. But I've been hearing the same thing about him for a long time. Oh, he's not a good athlete. Oh, he's not going to make it in this league. Or, oh, he's too slow. Everybody, it's like he's in quicksand. However, like that's the type of stuff coming from their media at practices and then they be like tweeting that stuff out in bold stuff. Like when people are like, oh, why don't we give Restrepo? We're the worst team ever. Our receiving core is, completely cheats. Why don't we give him a chance? He has a chemistry with Cam Ward. And then for him to finally get it. And, probably could have had some more plays if the ball was able to come to him. There was one shot to him towards in the red zone. So it was nice to see him at least get a red zone target, Teddy target, but did well, blocked extremely well, only had 19 snaps. Of those 19 snaps, it was like 8 passes and he had 2 catches. So he's definitely doing his thing. Hopefully this means they're going to keep him active for the rest of the year, especially what the hell else do you have to lose? Tennessee, you have a guy who could actually look at your quarterback and run to an open space when he's scrambling, which is crazy because some of that all 22 tape that they put on Twitter, there's some I like Tennessee fans. They be fighting for Cam Ward. They quick to show how their trash their receiver core is to be like, nah, don't talk about Cam. Like I appreciate that. There's a guy Titan Muse or something like that.
Yeah,
he's a soldier. I like him. He be pointing out like that Van Jefferson drop. Like he be putting that out there. Like don't talk about my boy Cam. That's my quarterback. So shout out. They
like Restrepo too. The fans they fight with the media about that.
Yeah, because it's just so unwarranted. It's just one of those conversations where they just say the same thing. They regurgitate the same thing people say about somebody because that's what they heard. But it's not what you're seeing with your eyes, bro. There's nobody that thinks X is slow because he is very, very good at running with tempo. When you think he's running slow is when he's about to break your ass. Like that's exactly what's about to happen. He has you now sitting in your catch technique, think he's coming at you, he's coming at you at a certain speed, and then boom, boom. You're like, oh my God. And then that ball's coming. And then he's definitely not dropping no passes. We know that. So very consistent target. I hope this is because he's been getting money. Practice squad money's pretty good. You're clearing over 150 a year. However, that game day check, baby, you're not beating that. I don't know how much it is. I never ask, but it's definitely a lot fatter than being undressed on Sundays.
Yeah, so just pulling up the stats here, and I watched the game on Red Zone. I tried to get a stream towards the end, so I didn't see all of it. So I wanted to see if you did a better job of catching it. So he had 2 catches, 26 yards. One of them was a ridiculous Cam Ward scramble, throw it across the body, and he was right there. Very nostalgic for Canes fans. That was Restrepo's first reception. There was another one right there in the red zone, got to the 1 yard line. Nice catch in traffic. They scored on the next play, but that was like a really good contested catch. There was another one that got called back for holding, not his fault. It was just a hold away from him. I know there was it says right here 2 catches, 6 targets, but we're not talking about drops. I think a couple of them were incomplete or just he didn't have a chance. There was one just seeing on Twitter where there was a touchdown potential, great pass that he went up and Devin Witherspoon. Yeah, was that from what I read? It seems like good play. Devin Witherspoon, one of the best in the league. So what happened on that play? You see it?
That one's tough when you're as Restrepo having to jump over because he had great position. He had safety help inside. He was outside. They were literally bracketing him. Might not have been the best read. I think that's just more of Cam just giving his guy a chance. Which because he has confidence in him to make those type of plays. However, that ball needed to be just a little bit more inside. It was kind of out. He's going over it would have been a crazy catch. However, that Witherspoon was definitely in position there. It probably wasn't the best read, but maybe a little bit more inside, and you never know.
Yeah, but it seems like just with the action he got, the fact that he made that catch late in the game, I got to think he's going to get more opportunities after this one. You don't just put him right there back on the practice squad, especially with the comp. Aside from DK, I don't know who's really doing it on that receiving core.
They don't got nobody, man. Especially with Calvin out, like they just literally have nobody. Yeah, they have a draft picker too, but you got to know when the guy just needs some time. Restrepo is not a guy who needs time to sit. There's nothing he's learning on that bench there. There's nothing he's absorbing on that god-awful Titan sideline. Like there's guys that need to be on that bench watching Xavier out there getting open and making himself available to the quarterback. It's it's just really daunting. There's like a 3-minute like low light of the Titans receivers. It's like 3 minutes and like 21 seconds. Like I got it on my bookmarks. One day I'll probably retweet it and be like, yeah, this is what I was talking about. They're running away from, like, you have Cam Ward scrambling to the outside and they're running here. Then you have Cam Ward running up the middle and they're going the opposite way, not even looking at him. And I'm just like, oh my God, please, somebody, these numbers, please show them to the quarterback. He's looking for somebody to throw the ball to. Like, hello, do you want the ball? Like, I don't care what play was called. Like, it's just really weird. And it's just for NFL receivers not to be able to grasp, that type of, just backyard stuff. Like, bro, that's crazy. I'm sorry, bro. You're getting paid millions and millions and millions of dollars. You know when to break off a route and go help your quarterback out, bro. Like, do you want that ball or not? And it's just like crazy effort. There's lack of effort from that receiving core when it comes to scramble drill. I mean, that's the easiest way to get a target and a completion is the play breaks down and you just start running towards your quarterback. Like, that's the easiest way to get the ball.
Especially when they know that you're going to go run to space and you're going to catch the ball and you're going to be quarterback friendly with like a Restrepo. I mean, you could tell on that play, which was Restrepo's first catch, that it seemed like Cam kind of he knew he was going where Restrepo was. Like, that's where he was looking, man. That was the safety valve and just an incredible play, man. The throw was on the money considering he was going halfway out of bounds and across the field. That was classic.
Yeah. And Restrepo was going with him this way. Cam Ward starts looking him back inside. He says, oh, okay, I'm coming out here, and I'm just waiting for the ball. Tackle with my hands, turn up field for whatever else I can get. But, yeah, it's just common sense. Like, oh, my God, what happens when your receivers turn back and look at your quarterback during the scramble drill? Like, that's that bad. That's how, like, god-awful the receiving core for Tennessee is. That's sometimes the worst things about going number one overall. It's just those teams are terrible. There's a reason why they're picking number one. And not for nothing, the Titans have a pretty good defense, but if they had some receivers and maybe a little bit of injection of just overall talent on that O-line, I think they could probably be a better team, probably a 500 team with that defense if they could just have maybe 2 solid receivers. I mean, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, they got work to do, but I think Ward's going in the right direction. So shout out to Xavier Restrepo. I enjoyed that one. I know Canes fans did as well. Hopefully seeing more of that, just the beginning of a nice long career for Canes legend whose name's going to be up there in the rafters of the IPF right behind us right now, Stevo.
Yeah, it's right there.
But yeah, man, shout out to Xavier Restrepo. And, sad news also with we should talk about the passing of DeAndre Johnson, defensive lineman. He was a Southridge player in high school. I remember seeing him on a game. I wasn't really watching him. I was out there to see, I think, Jerry Jeudy or one of these guys for Deerfield Beach, and he ended up taking over the game as best player on the field. Goes to Tennessee, has a nice career there, transfers back to Miami, played in that 2020 team. That was a good team for us. But, yeah, man, just a horrible situation and, praying for his family. But that's the worst part of this whole deal, just seeing these kind of, guy with so much potential, young guy, and yeah, it just sucks.
Yeah, it's regardless of, whether he put the U on his helmet or not. It's always tough to see these guys, young, just go out so early, so talented from the crib. They had, so much ahead of them. So, yeah, it's tough. Prayers out to his family. It always hurts the local football community. It's a very tight-knit community. A lot of talking behind people's back, but it's still a tight-knit community back here or down here.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So, again, prayers for DeAndre Johnson, man, former Cane, and I guess always a Cane. It's just, yeah, sucks. It's mental health, man. You got to talk to people, man. It's a real thing. So we're up here, by the way, almost 1,300 on right now, 1,340. So let's lighten the mood a little bit here. And, we're a tampering podcast, Steve. I don't know if you know. So we like to tamper any chance we get, especially when it comes to quarterback position. Cam Ward, we just talked about the Tennessee Titans, number 1 overall pick, doing his thing there at the NFL level. Carson Beck, we'll see how he finishes here, but has a chance to finish as one of the best quarterbacks in the country. That's really what he's been playing at the last month. So quarterback's always a position you kind of keep an eye on in the transfer portal. And we have not had this conversation. I talk with Pete about it all the time, about who we want in the portal, all that. So bit of news that just broke today, which is that Ron
Tiger?
Rivera, the
Oh,
GM, we talk about GMs here. Ron Rivera announced Sunday that Cal has parted ways with head coach Justin Wilcox. Poor guy, man. I remember seeing him in college game day a year ago. I was out there in Berkeley. Looked like he was on top of the world. Ended up beating Miami for much of that game. Cam Ward, of course, comes back and beats him, and Restrepo. But he's gone. Tough loss to Stanford. Andrew Luck, again, another NFL GM. It's kind of a trend we're talking about between Cal with Rivera, Andrew Luck with Stanford. FSU, I think, is going to go in that NFL direction. But anyways, Wilcox, 48-55 career record, doesn't get it done. He's gone. Nick Rolovich, who I think is a very smart offensive guy from Washington State, will be the interim head coach as they look for a new guy to man that program, which historic program, a lot of NFL players, and a quarterback I know Canes fans have been talking to me about forever since he's first started earlier this year. I've watched him. It's hard not to be impressed with what he does throwing the football. And that is JKS, Jaron Kiwi. I need Pete to help me with the pronunciation unless you got it. Sagapolitelli from Hawaii, the lefty.
that sounds good to me. Sagapolitelli sounds good.
Look at, I mean, the numbers don't blow you away. 2,700 plus yards, 13 touchdowns, 9 picks. Not really much of a runner, but when you watch this guy, he does throw the ball beautifully, and he's had some nice games where he looked like he was going to be a dude for somebody in the portal. No guarantees he's going to leave. I'm sure Ron Rivera is going to take as much NIL money as he has to pay this guy and stay. But anytime a coach leaves, they're back in the ocean, and you might be able to get him. So, what do you see with JKS, and how do you see the quarterback position in general in the portal for Miami, or do you want to keep it homegrown?
I would love to tell you guys that we're gonna have a Luke Nickel versus Darian Coleman battle, and the winner is the winner, and we're riding. But I highly doubt that. I definitely think we're gonna get a transfer portal quarterback. Is it a Carson Beck and Cam Ward one and done type of situation? I think they're probably gonna lean to someone with more eligibility, just in my opinion. But yeah, I like JKS. I'm a football fiend, so I watch football to probably 2-3 in the morning on Saturdays. So Cal is a team that I'm very familiar with. I do like Nico Rolovich. I think he runs a very good offense for people who want to throw the ball. And there's a lot of times where his receiving core has left some plays on the field. I mean, everybody can remember in 2020 what those numbers could have been like if we didn't have a lot of plays left on the field from De'Aaron King's arm. So just imagine that he probably has a couple touchdowns that just personally I've seen that just went through people's hands. They do have a number 7. That receiver is like that. He's made some crazy catches. But 21, a couple other guys have dropped the ball. But he's definitely he can make all the throws. I don't mind that he's left-handed. Some people complain about left-handed quarterbacks. I seen
It's a Hawaiian thing. Dylan Gabriel and Tua. I don't know what's going on over there.
Yeah, I've personally don't think I've ever played with the left-handed quarterback, so I couldn't tell you it. But I mean, it's the ball is coming at you, like tighten up. Like if you're complaining about it coming from his left hand, like what does it matter? Like
Jerry Rice caught a bunch from the left-hand side. I don't think it slowed him down too much.
Yeah, like I would not be concerned about which hand he throws the football with, as long as the football gets to where it needs to get to. That's all I care. If he could throw it with no hands, I wouldn't mind as long as it gets there. I don't know if that's exactly where I would go. I think he's probably going to re-up on a big deal with Cal. That's what a lot of people are saying. However, it's still just speculation until the end of the season and the portal opens up. What is he going to do? Or as well as, it could be, whatever they hire a new coach, he's going to have a window again, regardless when they hire a new coach, because I think that's the new rule now. Once they hire the coach, they have that window for the portal.
Yeah.
So I do think he's going to be highly coveted. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to say, hey, we're going to give you a better offensive line. We're going to give you better receivers. And we're going to give you the opportunity to just, let it all hang out. So, yeah, that's going to be a possibility. I would say he would thrive at Miami for sure, especially since he throws a really good deep ball, and I like that. But I do think there's other options as well. I wouldn't be like, oh, we have to solely get this guy. This is our guy. This is the guy we have to get. But he's definitely a good name to evaluate and be ready if he does hit the portal.
So let's just speculate here, have fun. We can do it. The coaches can't do it like we can, but we can do it real quick because that's what we're allowed to do as fans. Let me present a scenario to you. Let's just say all these guys are listening. And by the way this works, agents and all these guys, they're calling teams. That's just kind of how the game is. So let's say these guys are all, maybe not necessarily in the portal, but let's say they're all available. And I don't know this for a fact. I'm just trying to read tea leaves based on coaching changes, struggles with supporting guys, etc. So here, I'm going to give you some names and just assume all these guys are in, and then you tell me who would be on top of your list and why. So let's start with JKS. Just coach is gone. Assume he's listening. I'll put Sam Levitt from Arizona State. We read that article. That's obviously a guy that could potentially be on the market dealing with a foot injury. I will throw CJ Bailey in the mix just because that game against Miami, the way he got pummeled up front, I think that left an impression on him that he might need a little bit of protection going forward. But again, this is just the scenario, so I'm just laying it out. Lenore Sellers, let's say he doesn't go pro, gets a grade isn't like, he wants to come back. So let's put Lenore Sellers in that mix.
I would recommend he comes back. Go get that NIL money, fam.
And look, someone's going to draft him. I saw his grades aren't even that low. But yeah, I think developmental wise, let's put him back. So let's just say between Sellers, Levitt, Bailey, JKS, anyone else you want to throw in that mix, who are you leaning towards? You can pick a name that I missed.
I forget his name. It's a long name, but that North Texas quarterback.
Yeah, Mestamaker.
Yeah, Mestamaker. Yeah, that's a guy I'm looking at. I'd probably put him up there. But it'd probably be between foot injuries or whatever. They could probably hamper some mobility, but as long as no structural damage, it shouldn't hamper his throwing motion or anything like that, or him putting that weight on that back foot. I believe it's his right foot. I'm not sure. But that's kind of something you worry about. Can he transition that weight with the foot injury? So barring that he's healthy, I'm probably looking at either Levitt or Mestamaker in the portal for me.
Yeah, so Mestamaker, I agree. He's a complete stud. Safety in high school, never played quarterback, as a starter. Played behind a guy that's a baseball player now, another dude that is a backup at Louisville, running quarterback. We saw him in our game. But yeah, I like Mestamaker. The thing with Mestamaker and then also the running back for North Texas, Hawkins, who I think is an NFL guy, I just wonder if they're tied to that head coach. And if he goes to Oklahoma State, he just says, "Hey, I'm going to build the program around you two and go that way." Because again, Mestamaker's got the tools, and Hawkins is a real deal NFL dude. Probably to me the most talented guy besides Love in the country at running back. So we'll see how that plays out. But let's put those aside. It sounds like Levitt would be your guy if Mestamaker's not in the mix. CJ Bailey, you are a Broward guy, so I know you've seen CJ Bailey. So me, as someone who's talked about CJ Bailey a lot on the show, hearing you not mention his name gets my antenna up. So why would he not be on top of your list? And what are some of the things you're concerned about with him?
I do not take into account the pummeling we gave him. There was no receivers open. I don't think we blitzed more than that in any game this year. We sent Jacoby Thomas like 15 times on a blitz, Poyser on a blitz. We sent Bryce on blitz. We were sending safeties. We had double safety blitzes like 4 times, like just straight up, just like, yo, we're gonna have caved under pressure, bro. His offensive line had the worst. They had guys getting like 30% grades from PFF, like a full
snap.
Yeah, like 40%. I mean, did you see what Ahmad Moten was doing to those guys inside? I mean, it was bad. It was very bad. And then when you have no outlets because we started playing press coverage behind pressure, and their DBs were clamping Damari, O'Connor, Bryce in the slot. Like they were clamping these receivers. There was nowhere for him to throw the football. So that was just Miami finally playing a complete football game and living up to their talent. NC State was our best game of the year, playing from start to finish, just playing to our talent and to our aggressiveness. So I don't hold it too much against CJ, and I do think his receiving core has a lot to be, desired. If he has Concepcion still, he'd probably be in a lot better position because that dude's a stud. But he transferred out right when he gets this job. So I think you would definitely be able to have better performance for CJ Bailey because our offensive line will never look like that on like no matter what, like that we would never have 40% passing blocking grades ever outside of maybe 2022 when we were starting, D tackles at left guard because we had no bodies. Yeah, I would think he would be better just off of that, just off a talent upgrade. However, I would just look elsewhere. If I'm him, I don't really see a reason for him to leave NC State. I mean, he's doing well. They support him. They just need to maybe invest into the receiving core a little bit because it's pretty bad. They have a good running back. They have a good running game. But, yeah, there's no difference makers at wideout for him.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. I get the feeling it gets done sooner than later. And I don't really know, honestly, where they're leaning. That's not a situation where they're sharing a lot. It changes a lot. I don't think anybody expected Carson Beck this time last year to be the quarterback for Miami. So, kind of got to see how the dominoes fall. One thing affects the other thing, especially a position like quarterback where there's only one. So coaching changes, all this kind of stuff. You could also go in the direction like a Keelan Russell. Let's say Ty Simpson comes back, which I heard he's actually probably leading to go pro. I'm not sure his recent performances merit him going pro for a smaller guy that's only played like 9 games. Ty Simpson ultimately will end up going back. So then does Alabama's room kind of get a little crowded? You can steal one of those guys and develop him. I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting process to watch there at the quarterback position. So real quick before we wrap up, got almost 1,500 on live, man. Appreciate everybody's support. Like and subscribe. Also check out the 3 Live Canes on Wednesdays at 9 with Stevo and the crew. Again, those guys have been killing it for 5 years, it feels like. It's been a minute, and they've been doing it consistently with great chemistry, great crowd interaction. Just the whole thing's been awesome. Much better production than we got on our show, man. I thought to Chris, you guys got like a whole intro and everything. But looking ahead to Pitt, because I don't know if I'm going to have you back before then, so I want to make sure I get this out of you here. Scouting report on Pitt, I've done some early work on them. I'm not, again, an X's and O's genius, but just looking at these guys and knowing how they've played historically, I can see the safeties flying up against the run, similar to how FSU played Miami. They're probably the second best run defense in the ACC besides Miami. A lot of that's just the way that Narduzzi has always coached since he was back with D'Antonio. Those safeties are going to be flying downhill and the balls at their feet ready to rock and roll. And then when you look at just the way they blitz, it's relentless. They got fast linebackers. The linebackers are really more like safeties. Lewis, number 3, I always forget his name, but he's a fast playmaker. It's just like their linebackers are basically new age run and hit and cover guys who can also blitz, and really the whole team is a threat to blitz and cause havoc. So seeing that, I'm thinking play action is really going to be and downhill passing, or downfield passing, I should say, is the way you're going to beat this team. There's no way around it. You're going to have to protect. You're going to have to get the ball downfield. You have to make them pay for doing what they're trying to do, similar to how FSU paid for it. What do you see with Pitt? I don't know if you studied them in depth. It's just, we just finished Virginia Tech on Saturday. I know you will do that over the course of the week. But just like knowing how Pitt gets down, having watched them, what do you see in this game?
We're used to seeing this from Pitt. Coach Narduzzi cannot sit on the sideline and watch his team get ran down their throat. Like, he's not going to let that happen. He will dedicate those resources closer to the line of scrimmage and live with the results on the outside. To be honest, I like that type of coaching. I don't respect the comments he made the other day, and I think he's really weak, and I had my own feelings about it. But as a game day coach, like, I'm not gonna let y'all just run the football all over me. If y'all go douchey on one of my corners, like, it is what it is. But I'm not gonna let you hand the ball off down my throat and take 9-10 minute drives and just kill me before the game's even over. So I respect that. He's gonna be happening. This Pitt's a team we're always blurring. We're always thinking back to them. Will Mallory's down the field, whether it's the trick Deer King pop pass or the triple pass that everybody uses now.
Stacy Coley cooked them a few years ago.
Yeah, we cook Pitt downfield. Amon Richards, like we're used to beating them vertical because they're gonna live with those shots on the outside. My one thing with Pitt is their aggressiveness on the blitzes. It's time for us to house one of these screens. We've had some good ones where we went for 20, maybe 30. Dalen had one for 41. But where the Jacoby Georges at, where we take it all the way for the tutties? Like, I need to see these quick screens explode, because when they blitz, their blitz package is deep. It could look like one, but 2 or 3 are coming, and they're dropping a lineman. They have a really good exotic blitz package. We know Coach Narduzzi really focuses on the defensive side of the ball, so they're going to have these exotic blitzes and stuff. But if they come with that all-out pressure and we hit Mally full speed coming this way, like, I need it to be to the house. I need somebody to take one of these screens to the crib, because this is the type of defense you could do it on. It'll be 1 or 2 blocks downfield, and then you're gone. That's all we need. I need to see somebody make a play on one of those, especially with their defensive, philosophy. Obviously, we're going to go downfield as well. I would like to see, Joshua Moore maybe a little bit, more involved with some of those downfield shots, as one of those guys who's technically not covered even when he's covered. As you saw that on the last touchdown, Tim Alley, covered but not covered. You just put that ball in the air and let me come down with it. But again, a lot of these blitz heavy, teams, we should be killing them with our quick screen game, just because we're pretty good at blocking these quick screens. I'm not gonna lie. Getting out in front, our linemen are quick, our tight ends and all our receivers block. So we could probably pop 1 or 2. I think maybe Pitt doesn't blitz as much, or is more careful with their blitzes. They might not blitz the number 2 defender as much, knowing that he might have to get out to the flats. So they might do some more inside stuff than something on the outside that can give us numbers.
In terms of dealing with the blitz from a personnel standpoint, one comment I made on the board already on CanesInSight.com was, I think we might see some more Fletcher in this game, not because of necessarily you're just trying to pound it down Pitt's throat, like you said, that they're flying downhill, but from a protection standpoint, man, you got to protect this dude. So personnel wise, anything you're looking at that you say, all right, this is how we want to counter what we know they're going to do.
Yeah, I like the tight bunch sets, especially with a lot of people. When you're a blitz happy team and you're lined up tight bunch, it's a closer route to the quarterback. You're inviting it, but it also unlocks the quick passing game. Quick, you can get a guy coming here. Yeah, you blitz, but now I had Mally coming across and I just had to do like this to him. So a lot of bunch sets, you can get leverage quickly. Like a couple of times Dalen's gotten it. He got the ball this last game. The last versus the previous week, he should have got it. Just a quick out would have been an easy first down. You just take the leverage quick. So I like some of those tight plays, but personnel wise, a tight end in line, I think Bauman's going to answer the job as a blocker. I really don't have much complaints about him as a blocker, but yeah, Mark Fletcher is definitely the best pass protection running back we have, and he could catch the ball off the backfield. People act like he's not good just because Pringle had, how much 100-yard games, 3, 4. I mean, he has like three touchdown games this year. Like, I don't get it. I get it. It's a new toy, and it's when he has juice like that, it's easy to get excited, But like, let's chill with the Mark disrespect, y'all boys. Like, y'all is really tripping, because Mark is definitely one of the best running backs in the conference, easily. So definitely would like to see Bauman in line, as well as Mark Fletcher in there, and just be more decisive. Okay, so if we're going to go, 3 wide receivers because we have a tight end inside for max protect and we're leaving a running back in, who are those guys going down for? We know Mally's in. For sure. But who are those guys? I think Keelan Marion has deserved that spot. He's probably should have gotten more deep targets throughout the year. So if CJ Daniels is not back, who's that guy I'm throwing it deep to? Is it going to be Dalen Upshaw? Is it going to be Joshua Moore, who I am very, very confident would be really well in that role? Or is it going to be a JoJo Trader who we've been waiting for? We've got, flash in the pan plays, but nothing consistently. So we have 3 guys that are fighting to see if they can get that target downfield. So I would like to see who's out of that 3 would step up, because I think Marion and Mally have proven they can go downfield vertically. But if that other side could unlock that potential and we go max protect, that's just a lot. You can't help everybody. Somebody's going to be one-on-one.
Yeah, no, I agree totally about the Fletcher thing and the fans. I don't. It's like Shaq Quarterman, man. There's just some players just don't get the respect they deserve by some segment of the fan. They want to shine a new toy always, and this guy's one of the best just football players overall you'll see in the ACC. I liked how he used him as a blocker in this last game. You notice he got out on the perimeter a little bit, and when he's out there, he's going to overpower any defensive back, right? It's like having a legit fullback out there or a tight end. So I like having his blocking be more of a factor. You can play him with Pringle at the same time. In terms of we know, like you said, they're going to challenge our outside receivers. They're going to challenge our downfield game in general. Mally is going to be on top of the scouting report. We know that. Like, they cannot let Malachi Tony
Safety
kill
over
them.
the top easily.
So who do you see being that number 2 that can really hurt this team?
I think Marion. I'm to be honest with you, without a CJ, I definitely think he's been our most consistent guy. I mean, he stepped up. He was trending up. I would like him. He had some good tape versus USF. FSU should have had a touchdown on that reverse. And then he's kind of trending down since, had a couple drops. But last couple games, he's definitely popped off, and I like his energy. And he's definitely fast. Everybody could tell when he gets the ball in his hands, he's been making people miss. He's been having some good success for us recently. So I think you got to go him as number 2 confidently, just because nobody else is showing that they can make plays like he has. Not everybody's been getting the opportunities. I really do think that Joshua Moore should probably get 1 or 2 of those. Hey, he's covered, but let's throw it up to him anyway. But I digress. But yeah, I would go Marion first easily. For the second.
I agree totally. The veteran. And in terms of screens, there haven't been that many screens to Marion. I thought there might be some more, but maybe he's not that type of athlete where like he likes to be in traffic. Maybe just a guy who likes to get his speed built up a little more, because I'm surprised we haven't done as many screens to Marion. JoJo, we did 1 screen. I want to say, I forgot, it was SMU or one of these games where he lost a yard. I'm not sure that's really his game. So if you're not throwing a screen to Mally, I know we're talking about downfield as well, but just even in the screen game, Upshaw to me, that's something that he can really do comfortably. Like you said, he did it in Alabama. It's on the film. He's got some size to him. He's got a nice first step. There's gonna be a lot of ways we're gonna have to attack this and make them pay for doubling Mally, but that to me, that feels like something that could work is Upshaw on the screens.
Yeah, no, 100%, because there's just guys who have instincts and can make plays with the ball in their hands. Those are the type of guys I love. That's why out of all the great players of history, a guy like Roscoe Parrish is my favorite receiver. What are you going to do with the ball is in your hands? I don't care what somebody told me about you. What the ball is in your hands. Show me something. And Dalen Upshaw definitely has that type of ability. Marion, I think he's gotten more involved in the screen game. Last week, he made a couple guys miss on those quick passes. Then versus Virginia Tech, or I guess I should say 2 weeks ago. And then Virginia Tech, he had 1 first down on the screen but I just don't know if it seems to me like he needs 1 or 2 steps to get that speed up and going. He's not really that instant speed guy. He's a guy that it definitely climbs up speed because he's definitely fast, but just not that instant speed guy. Like when Mally, I think Marion's faster than Mally, but when Mally gets the ball, it's a different type of acceleration. So definitely I would say Upshaw is that guy, because Moore is not really his game. He can make a guy miss, and he's probably going to get you like a powerful, like Kobe Young wasn't a receiver built for screens, but he had success because he's a tough tackle. I think, Joshua Moore could be that. He's definitely a tough tackle, 6'5", get him to the ground, one-on-one with the corner, might break that first tackle, So I think there's some success that we could have with different elements of their game. But when it comes to just pure, I want to get these guys the ball in space quickly on a screen and let them navigate through that traffic, is definitely Mally and Upshaw for me. And I wouldn't be mad if they threw something to Marion. He's made enough plays to warrant those, but it would definitely think it suits their skill set a little bit more. JoJo, it depends, man. I don't think the quick hears are for him. Yeah. I definitely like the bubbles, something where he has a little bit ahead of steam. I think he could do better in the bubble game. Jailbreak screens, coming across with some speed and momentum. Those are the type of screens I would look for. Just the quick right now lightning type screens. Well, that's what we called it, but there's a bunch of person language for it. But those right now screens, I don't think that's really for him. Can he be successful? Yeah, he's not a duck. He can catch the ball and run upfield, but is that his true skill set? Probably not. One thing I'm waiting for is the bubble screens to Mally and then the bubble double pass. We attempted one that he didn't put it in the air, but we got to go back to that.
On those now screens, you call them, smoke route, whatever you want to call it. Like, you want guys that are stronger for that, like the guys with a little more just tackle breaking ability. Is that what you're looking for on those just right now screens?
No, I'm looking for guys who who can navigate traffic. Because Jacoby George did not have that type of strength. He was probably our best guy when it came to screens. It's all about making that first guy miss. It's kind of like a punt return. You have to make that first guy miss. There's somebody going to be unblocked. There's one lineman who's not going to get there in time, and there's just nothing they could do. They're not going to get from the tackle box to the hash to get this guy. What are you going to do about it? You know, are you going to just go down for a 4-yard game, or are you going to make this guy go, you know, eat some grass and then go to the crib, and now we dancing in the end zone? So definitely, I think the ability to make the first guy miss is what I'm looking for, whether that's with strength, being a tough tackle, and then falling forward, or, you know, just juking somebody out of their shoes, or just, you know, attacking their leverage and dead legging them. I just think that's the most important thing when it comes to these receiver screens. It comes in a lot of ways. Just if you can consistently make the first guy miss, I'll throw you those right now.
1,700 on, man. Then you, Stevo, was on, so they had to show up. Always appreciate you. Yeah, this CanesInSight Primetime, this late night deal. Maybe we'll do this more often, man. Been dying to have you on, so can appreciate you staying with us late here tonight. There it is. Kirk Ranger right here says the time slot I've been waiting on. So there you go, with the man himself. Check him out on. Are you on Wednesday?
Yes, sir. You already know. I don't know about this Wednesday yet. We haven't made that decision, but I might be traveling. If not, then I'm on.
There you go. So every Wednesday, pretty much every Wednesday. Certainly the show's on every Wednesday. 3 Live Canes, and the man right there, Stevo. And the copyright guardians, whoever, like, they got you last time. You couldn't even put the video out. That was a first for us. Like, what's the story with the breakdowns, Max? People have been waiting. If you guys haven't seen Stevo's breakdowns, 365 Canes football, they're world famous. So we got to figure out this copyright thing.
Yeah, that was the first time I ever dealt with that. That was crazy. And I remember my girl being like, so you did all that. You was at your computer all that time. And you ain't into this. You could have been. I was just like, yeah.
You got to sell a bootleg, like the old bootleg taste. You might be a little
thankfully, my plug for the all 22 has been a little slow, but I just finally got Virginia Tech's, NC State's offense, us versus them. And then I'm already got Virginia Tech's defensive clips. So our offense there. So when I get the all 22s, they can't go that. So I'm going to have a very extensive review coming out. That's going to be awesome, that nobody could copyright or say this. So I can't wait for it. I've been chugging away at it, honestly, for like a week or two, just adding and adding and adding. It's getting a lot funner because it was very depressing at first. I was like a lot of, why are we doing this on offense tonight? Okay, now this works. This is fun. I can talk about this with a smile and have a straight face, like, yeah, so we ran the inside zone and we got stuff. This is Brock Bar getting pushed back 3 yards. Like, that type of film, it hurts my soul to break down, but now it's fun.
Hey, well, let's have some fun here this week and hopefully on Saturday. Stevo, appreciate you.
No problem, man. Appreciate you guys having me on. You guys haven't hit that like button yet, go ahead and hit it, man.
Perfect form on the U, and those hands are catching everything, man. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.